Adam Taxin here with a global warming update. I have been neglecting this for a few days, and it's certainly not because of potential lack of content. I have been in the panhandle of Florida, where it's not necessarily the most obnoxious global warming weather, but it's been a little ridiculous. Yesterday around 9 a.m. when I went to a coffee shop, it was all of 37 degrees. Around the same time this morning, it was 43. Again, this is the panhandle, not Miami, but still very low. And it's just important to remember, I can't emphasize this enough, today is Thursday, November 20th. We are still over a month from the early start, start of winter. And last year was a terrible winter in the Midwest and Northeast, but things didn't really get bad till the end of December. Actually in the South too, I didn't mean to leave that out. But the big story, and I'll get to some other stuff later, but the big story is what's going on in upstate New York, in the snow belt, but still extremely unusual even for then. And again, it is still technically the middle of November, and many of your Thanksgiving turkeys are still alive at this point. But this is from the article, Epic Snowstorm on Track to Set a Record in Buffalo, by Doyle Rice in U.S. Today. And this is just, I mean, think about the numbers he's saying here, but let me read you a little bit of it. Buffalo's first snowstorm of the season could give the area a year's worth of snow, around 8 feet in just 3 days. That's pretty remarkable, and so is this aspect of it. More than 5 feet of snow were already on the ground Wednesday, and another round of lake effect snow is forecast to bring an additional 3 feet of snow to the Buffalo area on Thursday and Friday. The average snowfall for an entire year, 93.6 inches, or close to 8 feet. So they may get that before the weekend, before Thanksgiving. Just amazing. This is what Governor Andrew Cuomo said. Not a fan of his, but he seems to have it right here. This is a historic event. When all is said and done, this snowstorm will break all sorts of records, and that's saying something in Buffalo. He's right about that. Christopher Burt, weather historian with the Weather Underground, said the Lake Erie snowstorm will go down as the most extreme on record. Now, something else the article mentions is for the second straight day, overnight temperatures in all 50 states Wednesday fell to freezing or lower, even in Hawaii, atop the high mountain summit of Mauna Kea on the Big Island. Actually, the state where that's most remarkable is really Florida, because not only is it so far south, as is Hawaii, but there are no mountains there. The highest point is about 300 feet, and it's actually in the county where I'm hanging out the last couple days. Just another point, while the worst of the cold will ease Thursday, temperatures will still be below average in the east, the National Weather Service said. And there was also some record cold elsewhere yesterday morning. New York City, 22 at LaGuardia, Washington, D.C., 13 at Dulles, and that's in Virginia, actually. Amazing. That's in the Confederacy. Raleigh, North Carolina, 19. And as far south as Jacksonville, Florida, 27. A little bit sad for us animal lovers. In Corpus Christi, Texas, experts are caring for about 140 turtles stunned in a cold snap that left the reptiles stranded on Gulf Coast beaches. And again, Corpus Christi is rather far south on the Gulf Coast. It's not like it's at the northern part of the Gulf Shore. Western New York, I think you get the point there. Many vehicles trapped. Here's an interesting line. Some areas have so much snow that road crews said it was like plowing a brick wall. Rescuers who have been using snowmobiles also walked car to car to try to dig people out who were stuck in their vehicles. Niagara University basketball got stranded. More well-known, the Buffalo Bills are going to have a really interesting experience this Sunday when the snow will be down, but I don't know how they're going to clear it. They're supposed to have a football game against the Jets. The NFL is considering doing something about that. I don't know how they're going to do it. By the way, the last time a storm this huge hit was in December 2001, when 80 to 90 inches of snow fell on the region in a five-day period. And by the way, just a number for you about the Buffalo Bills. Their stadium is buried under 220,000 tons of snow, according to the team. And Andy Major, the Bills' vice president of operations and guest experience, said, "We have not had this much snow, as far as we know, in the history of our team." Okay, other stuff, New Hampshire, Michigan, Atlanta, some personal stories. Yeah, it's cold. It's looking like it's going to be quite a winter. Let me just read you something else, which I find funny. Just some people can't get anything right, but I just find this tweet from Sandra Fluke, who recently got her butt kicked in an election in Southern California, where she now lives. I can't say I blame her for that. I think she's from Central or Western Pennsylvania, so at least one thing going right for her is she will have the weather well. The weather will be going better, even if they are having a serious drought, and I don't know how often they can shower, but she's married to someone rich and elite, so I imagine that won't be a problem. Some pigs are more equal than others, as Orwell said. Or I think the quote was something like that. But here's a tweet from her on November 12th, and it's just so funny. Sandra Fluke tweets, "Great leadership by Obama to fight #climate change. Solution requires action by countries at all stages of development." That's just brilliant. And also just on a more broad level, this was written, it's found at dcclothesline.com and it's written by Chris Carrington, or at least posted by Chris Carrington. It doesn't say who the author is, but the title is "NASA Admits That Winters Are Going to Get Colder, Much Colder." And in other words, it's related to sunspots. There are apparently an experience like the one we're having right now in terms of sunspots has occurred only 5 times over the last 1,000 years. Here's an interesting quote from the article. Don Easterbrook, a climate scientist based at Western Washington University, predicted exactly what another scientist is saying as far back as 2008. In his paper, blah, 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 he states, "Despite no global warming in 10 years and record-setting cold in 2007-2008, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climatic Change, IPCC, and computer modelers who believe that CO2 is the cause of global warming still predict the Earth is far more catastrophic, is in store for catastrophic warming in this century. IPCC computer models have predicted global warming of 1 degree Fahrenheit per decade and 5 to 6 degrees Celsius by 2100, which would cause global catastrophe with ramifications for human life, natural habitat, energy, water, resources, and food production, yada, yada, yada." But the article also mentions that the list of climate scientists that are moving into the global cooling camp is growing. Many of them base their views on past climate records, and history suggests a link between diminished solar activity and bitterly cold winters, as well as cooler summers in the northern hemisphere. All right, you get the point of that. One other fun note is that the Justice for Michael Brown, or whatever, protesters, looters, they're complaining about the cold in Missouri. Gotta love that. All right, this has been Adam Taxin with the Global Warming Update.